So one of the key announcements that we made this week at IBC is around something that we call Sola Vision. So before I talk about that, it's kind of important to provide some context of exactly the problem or the challenges that we're solving for customers. So one of the recurring themes or topics of discussion that we would have with customers over the last 12 months, 18 months, is in the area of complexity as it relates to content preparation, specifically for video delivery or for media delivery. So the old world, if you like, of delivering video content, whether it was live or on demand, 5 years ago, was pretty straightforward, right? It was primarily delivered to a PC. So essentially what you had to do as a content provider is decide what format you wanted to stream the video to the PC, whether it was Flash, Windows Media, Reel, make that decision and away you go. Right? So you really had to concern yourself with one format, one device type, and it was all single bitrate. So what's changed quite dramatically in those 5 years is just the growth and evolution of consumer devices, right? Like the iPhone, the iPad, those iOS devices, the growth of Android smartphone devices, and a whole other slew of IP connected consumer devices that you can actually stream live or on-demand video on. So there'd be devices like the Xbox from Microsoft, the PlayStation from Sony, the Nintendo Wii. You've got IP-enabled set-top boxes, IP-enabled televisions. So now you have this huge ecosystem of consumer devices that are capable of streaming live video or on-demand video and doing it at a very, very high level of quality. So that's all very well and good, right? It's great to have all of these devices out there and have more choices for consumers to access or consume content on. Now, the challenge for the content provider, if you're a broadcaster or a OTT, over-the-top service provider, to get to these devices can be very complicated from a content preparation perspective. So the example I gave at the beginning, 5 years ago when you would just stream to a PC, pick your format and away you go, you start streaming. That's changed because now you have all of these different devices that you have to specially prepare your video content for so they can actually be played back on these different devices. So whereas 5 years ago you may have had one workflow, today you may have 3, 4, 5 or 6 workflows depending on the formats you want to support or the type of devices that you want to get to. So what's Akamai doing to solve that challenge? Well, we introduced at IBC this week something that we call Sola Vision, which is part of our Sola Media Solutions. And essentially what Sola Vision does is a feature called stream packaging that will allow a content provider to be able to give us a single source video file, and then we will repackage it for multiple outputs in multiple formats, and so from multiple different devices. So that world, or that complexity that content providers have had to deal with gradually over the last 5 years, we can eliminate all of that complexity. So they just give us one file, they manage one workflow, and then we do the rest of the stream packaging to be able to produce Flash, HLS, delivery to Android devices, and so on and so forth. Now, we didn't just stop there. We've gone a step further than stream packaging. Also part of our Sola Vision offering is something that we call Transcoding. So that's the ability now to be able to produce profiles or renditions of a video, essentially bit rates, from one single file. So previously, the content provider would have to manage that transcoding process in their workflow, right? So there's costs associated with that. It adds complexity to the workflow. So now what we're saying is with Sola Vision that the content provider can actually take that transcoding complexity and push that in to the Akamai Sola Vision platform. And we will actually do the transcoding in addition to the stream packaging of that content. So not satisfied there, we went even a step further. So another important part of streaming workflow is security or content protection. And that's the ability, obviously, to be able to protect your content from the common threats that are out there today, like stream ripping, player hijacking, man-in-the-middle attacks, and so on. So also part of the Sola Vision platform is something that we call Secure HD. There's basically 4 components to that. There's stream encryption, where we actually encrypt the video content itself. There's player verification to protect the player for the customer. There's token authorization, and then there's content targeting. And again, like what we're doing for transcoding and stream packaging, all of those components are managed in the cloud, so to speak, so within the Akamai infrastructure. So prior to that, just to kind of bring it full circle, content providers would have to do the packaging themselves, the transcoding, and manage the security policy at their origin infrastructure. And what we're doing with Sola Vision is saying to the content provider, you don't need to do that anymore. We can do all of that on our platform. So we're eliminating the complexity, and we're eliminating, as importantly, the costs associated with them having to manage all of that. So essentially that's what we're promoting and talking about at IBC this year. So we will continue to innovate in providing cloud-based services around content preparation, because that's an area, like I said, it's a recurring topic when we sit down with our customers, not only in Europe here, but all over the world. So one example would be starting to see the introduction, if you like, into the marketplace and requested adoption of MPEG-Dash, which is basically a new container format for streaming video. So we're going to continue to add support for new features or new formats or new protocols that are introduced for streaming, so our customer doesn't actually have to worry about it. So a specific example would be MPEG-Dash is gaining a lot of traction here in Europe, and it's something that Akamai can support delivery of today. And the intention is to be able to add output support for the likes of MPEG-Dash as an output on our network, so our customers, again, don't need to have to manage that complexity in their workflow. So while we launched Sola Vision this week, it's by no means we launch it and it's kind of on to the next thing. It's kind of this continuous innovation of the platform itself on an ongoing basis.